Hello, peace and greetings. I am Bella, and this is the new True Crime Reading channel. Email's there in case you want to send me any reading requests, and so is the Cash App at Readings by Bella for the energy and the time I take to put into these cases. We want to get the information out there. We want to keep the conversation going with these folks. So please do donate. Please do send request and share the videos, like them, and subscribe. Also, check the description area because there may be like news clippings or anything that I needed to add, or the pinned comments. Thank you. Take care, guys. Hello, everybody. We are back today to do a third reading for Amber Bam Shelton, who was recently found. I believe she was found March 5th, and they did an autopsy Friday, which was yesterday on the 7th, claiming that she committed suicide, all right, or they ruled it a suicide. So we got a lot to talk about here. Okay, so as you guys know, my first reading for Amber was a psychic impressions reading, and then I did some cards. I did the Kipper spread. The second reading was a tarot spread, and that talked a lot about the person who orchestrated her death. Talked about this person hiring or paying somebody to do this, somebody that person knew for some time. Okay, so there's a relationship between this woman and the male that were involved in this. The person that orchestrated it is a female, according to the cards. Okay, so in this reading, this is my personal true crime deck, as you can see. And so this is where we're going to do the true crime. This is where we get into the nitty gritty and the details that the other cards didn't pick up, and even my psychic impressions. Okay, so first thing I want to say is you guys should understand that the person who reported her missing is the person that created the narrative that one, Bam left the house in the early morning or late at night, that she was not herself, she was depressed. Like the impression was given, was already set, that it seemed like she wanted to hurt herself. All right. So the police were already fed that narrative, right? So then we find her, and then the police are like, oh well, we're ruling it a suicide, right? Without even looking without even looking at any other aspects. I don't know how many people they interviewed, if they interviewed anybody. And let's not forget that Black males and females around her age, even if they're hanging from a tree, they're found hanging with defensive wounds and all kinds of evidence that suggests that they were assaulted and battered, and then somebody strung them up in a tree, they're still ruled as suicides. We're seeing this all over Mississippi, all over the South, and there's even been some incidents in North Carolina. So just understand that there's not a lot that seems to go into these investigations. They seem to be very happy to declare deaths, especially in her demographic, her age range, right, as a suicide. Also, this is hearsay because this hasn't officially been stated. It's said that she died from a single gunshot wound to the torso. Now, that was not in the official release, but this is what I'm being told by a friend of the family. Since when do our people shoot each other in the stomach as a means of committing suicide? I mean, we're not even known to shoot ourselves in the head. That is typically a different demographic that does that. Okay. So when you're listening to these details, just make sure that you're really thinking and even do your own research into statistics, sorry, into statistics surrounding suicide and Black Americans and that sort of thing. Okay, so as you guys seen that there was a spread that I laid out before this one, which has some pretty shocking information, but that's the point of the true crime deck, right? So that we can get into the real details that the tarot and other forms of divination may not be able to find comb tooth through, fine tooth comb through. All right, so First, I want to let you guys know that she's saying that she's with family, she's in peace, at peace, and she's sending her love, okay? She is standing 10 toes down that she was murdered. This was a murder, okay? So let's go by this one by one. Second time the pregnant card came up. It says, I fought for my life, I defended myself, indicates suffocation, strangulation. Now, she also indicates that she was murdered in one place and transferred to another. She could have been put in somebody's, she could have been battered, right? Because it says that she was tortured. So she could have been battered, beat up pretty bad, and then put in somebody's trunk. And that card has not come out yet, but this is only the second spread. And could have suffocated, in somebody's car trunk, or there's other means of suffocation, right? So this was indicated twice that she suffocated, but the official release says that she died from a single gunshot wound. They didn't say where. I saw her being shot in the head. But I have a gunshot card, or I was shot card, and that didn't come out yet. So we'll just wait and see what comes out in the future spread. Okay. Near to or close to clinic, hospital, or was admitted to the hospital. Now, this is related to pregnant. Could the other party have become pregnant and Bam was like, look, I'm done with this BS or whatever? Was this pregnancy what really made Bam say, look, I'm done with this situation? Because who should get pregnant by? Her partner? You understand what I'm saying? Went to a clinic, hospital, admitted to hospital. Was there a termination of the pregnancy? Victim knows them. Will be solved. Mom or mother, tattoos. We know that Bam has tattoos, but this could be indicating somebody else. A mother with tattoos? Could this be the other party? I forgive. I was baited. Male. That's likely the male that I see. Again, she's with family. She's at peace. I was murdered in one place, transported to another. My death scene was staged. Okay, so that's important because I figured that she was transferred somewhere, right? If she was harmed in the area that I saw her in broad daylight, I figured that, but I figured that there would be some evidence left at the scene, right? I also saw her in an open nature setting, right? So she had to have been transported. Now, when she got to the destination, wherever they put her, was it staged? Okay? Because here's the thing. They're ruling it a suicide, and I think it's based off of the narrative that they got from the person that reported her missing, right? But was there residue on her hands? Was there a gun left at the site? If there was, I believe it was staged. Okay. It's not hard to do that. They teach us how to do these things on these television shows. It's no coincidence that they've had all of these shows over the last 30 years showing us how to get away with murder and how these things are done. Okay. So gunshot residue on her hand, if there was, then it was staged, in my opinion. I was wronged by, again, she was tortured. She was targeted. This was a targeted attack. Contract killers, hitman. That was indicated in the second reading, guys. Go back and see the second. Make sure you're looking at all the readings so that you can get the information chronologically. This is indicated in the second spread in the second reading. Okay? And then look at the comment because I had to pin a note down there for clarification. Contract killers, hitman. I was abducted. I was murdered. Okay, so when she went out to meet somebody, whoever this was, did they take her at gunpoint then? Or did they say, hey, if she was going to buy something, pick something up, they say, well, okay, let's go over here so you can look at it. Then you can decide if you want to buy it. Did they take her somewhere and that's how they got her to whatever the destination was? Or, the point is that she was transported somewhere. All right. She was transported after or before the deed. But she was abducted because she wasn't found at her house. She wasn't found, in the area of her house. She was found someplace else. So they took her somewhere. I was baited. Male. But she says she forgives. So let's get into the other spreads. Okay. Okay, everybody, we are back with the third spread and the final spread for now. There will be more readings if you guys like, and if there's any new developments like there was recently. But for now, I feel like BAM is basically letting us know everything that we need to know. In this spread, there's something new that I didn't pick up on before, and that's the motel hotel thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. So again, we get the mail card. I was baited. I was a targeted victim. Definitely yes. Was shot. Because remember, I asked that before, and that came right out. Anytime I ask her a question, the cards will flip right out. So she's great. I love her for that because she's always been strong um, in these readings, both the psychic impressions and with the cards. All right, now this is the thing, guys. I was held captive for some time. I don't know how much time, where in the scheme of things that this happened. Um, if they took her someplace. So if we're entertaining the idea that she got in a car with somebody to go somewhere, she could have been held at gunpoint somewhere where she could have been tortured, battered, or whatever. And then when they harmed her, they could have took her somewhere and then placed her somewhere because that park, I don't want to torture the name of it, but that park, I believe, is open. It's free access. And I think isn't it open 24 hours or something like that? So somebody could have placed her there in the middle of the night at any time, really. But I do see her being harmed outside in broad daylight with the gunshot. I do see that. What I didn't get was held captive for some time. I don't know how long, maybe a week or so. Um, but that goes into the hotel motel thing. Was she taken somewhere and held and harmed, like battered and stuff? Again, my death scene was staged. A lot of these cards are repeats except for the motel one. Actually, motel came out before, but I thought it was a fluke card because I didn't see how it fit in. So I put that back. We did get the car trunk, which probably goes along with the suffocation thing. However, she would have been transported after they harmed her, um, allegedly. And let me say something else, guys. It is said in the beginning of my readings. Unfortunately, I have to say that this is for entertainment purposes only. Um, but all the information is alleged. I can't prove any of this. This is simply just coming out of the cards, and then I'm putting my opinion onto this. I've never said anybody's name, last name, address, or anything other than Bam's because Bam is the victim, and for obvious reasons. That's why we're doing these readings is to help the victim. But I've never mentioned anybody else's name. So again, this is allegedly, but the cards are here we go. Friend, victim knows them, 1 to 3 people. So in the first layout, I think it said gang related. Gang related to me in this reading relates to more than one person conspiring to do this. So I believe that that's what I saw in the second reading, in the second spread, that she was confirming that somebody hired somebody else to do this and she had a relationship with this person, not a romantic, but like some sort of like connaissance. Maybe they were childhood friends or something. But she knows the person very well who's done this. And there's an indication that that they've done this before, um, that she has done this before to other people, whether it's harming them completely or doing something terrible to other people with this person. So this is somebody she calls on when she wants to get things done to harm people. Organized. Okay, so 1 to 3, girlfriend. Organized operation. My death was unavoidable. Okay. So yeah, again, the information is alleged, but the cards are speaking for themselves. And whenever I asked her for clarity, because I was like, I said, well, how did you get to? I said, how did you get to and from? And that's when the abducted and car trunk card came out. And then I asked about for clarity with the I was held captive. And then the motel came out. And then again, my death scene was staged. If that's not where they actually harmed her, then it was staged. And again, we've had the hitman card come out. So I mean, I feel pretty confident with this information. Whenever I asked a question, those cards popped out. Definitely. The vision she gave me when I first came across her story on TikTok, clear as day. Um, I have no reason to doubt this information. Um, so this is the third reading, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm just going to keep an eye on this story because there's definitely more. I know in my heart this was not a suicide, and I think that the police jumped the gun in declaring this a suicide. They need to take more time to look at these things, just like, with the Wittersonville case, the young boy. Check out his video as well. I mean, this is a horrible trend where they're just writing off young black youth, young black folks, and either saying they ran away or they committed suicide or something like that. So it's up to us as a people to advocate, even if they're not your family, even if they're not your family, must show up because we've got to change this. We've got to change this trend, because if it doesn't change, people are going to feel emboldened to continue to do this, even if it's our people. The guy that did this to her was black, even our people, you know. Um, So yeah, so this is the reading. Again, sending Bam love. She's great. She's always coming through. She sends her love, guys. Don't forget those cards where she says she comes to her loved ones in dreams. She's with her family. She's sending her love. She hears you guys. If you were connected to her, you had a close bond. She's with you, and she loves you guys as well. Thanks for tuning in. Let's just pay attention and see what happens. And if they continue with the nonsense, then there's folks are going to have to call some higher level people in to look at this case. And I hope that no one allows for her body to be cremated, because if another coroner has to look at her body, then so be it. But if I was family, I would not allow anyone to cremate the body. And for the police, if this is true, that the police have not allowed the family to see the body, I mean, that's wild to me. I don't know how they can get away with identifying her, because it said that the family did not identify her, that the police did. That's wild to me, because I didn't know that the police could just identify somebody without the kin doing it. And then they're not allowing the family to see the body, but you've completed the autopsy. And why wasn't it mentioned that, she was strangled? If she was strangled or she suffocated, there should be some pretty obvious signs. I mean, the basic person that watches these medical shows knows what the signs are for a person that's, suffocated, or not suffocated, but the strangulation. I guess it depends on how bad the body was decomposed. But what I'm saying is that we just got to stay on top of this and make sure that due diligence is being done, so that we can get justice served for her, and not just her, but anybody else that this is happening to, when it's questionable and then just writing it off as a suicide when there was a whole back narrative that there were things that weren't right in her personal life, that need to be looked at. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.